Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, welcome. My notes say good morning, but it's well past that. I'm Jay Holder. I'm the Chief Content and Communications Officer for USA Track and Field. Welcome to Eugene for the 2025 Toyota USATF Outdoor and Para-National Championships. At the beginning of 2025, U.S. Paralympic Track and Field became part of USA Track and Field. Now we are celebrating that union with this historic event, the first time the Outdoor Track and Field and Paralympic Track and Field Championships have been held simultaneously. Starting tomorrow, more than 1,100 athletes will come to Hayward Field to compete for their opportunity to wear Team USA at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo or the World Para-Athletics Championships and in New Delhi. This meet serves as the selection event for both of those global championships. After winning 39 medals at the World Para Championships and 29 medals at the World Athletics Championships in 2023, we expect this alliance to only add to Team USA's success against the world. All events will be broadcast live on USATF.tv, NBC, and Peacock, with a national NBC broadcast window from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Additionally, USATF TV will have an integrated feed and up to 4 isolated feeds throughout the competition. And today, we're excited to announce that the 100-meter finals on USATF.tv will be streamed for free on Friday. Follow USATF on social media for details on how to access that stream. Well, many of the stars of the 2023 season are here, as well as many of the stars of the 2024 Paris Olympics and Paralympics. They're here to defend the titles and write the next chapters in their already globally successful careers. We had the honor of talking to some of them today, and to lead those conversations, I'd like to bring up a longtime voice of Hayward Field and the lead play-by-play analyst this week for USATF.tv and NBC, our moderator, Paul Swangard.
All right, please be seated. Thank you. Can we give it up for Jay Holder? Are we all excited that Jay's in the building? Look forward to having you here for many more of these opportunities. And let me echo what Jay just said. We're happy to be here. I'm, of course, a Eugene resident, so always great to have you all back in town for those who have traveled far and wide, and to bring back the energy to Hayward Field over the course of the next several days of competition. It will be a great competition, as he said, very historic because of the athletes that we're bringing together for the very first time. One of the latest national championships we've ever had, and big stakes up for grabs for both the World Championships in Tokyo and in New Delhi coming up. We've got a very packed schedule here, and so I'm going to just kind of keep it efficient and keep the trains moving and bring up a series of athletes for some brief conversations. We also have an afforded opportunity for you to ask some questions from the crowd, and then we'll go into breakout sessions at the conclusion of this. But let me get my helper glasses on to do my first introductions. We're going to bring up first a pair of folks that have had lots of success over their careers and certainly have had some success here at Hayward Field. First up, most decorated track and field athlete in Paralympic history, who's here competing at Hayward Field for the second time in just a month. Tatiana McFadden is going to join us. And of course, the world is still buzzing. Can't stop talking about the 11-second PR this man had at Prefontaine Classic in the Bowen Mile, finally shaking that high school PR down to a respectable level, but also picked up a couple of bronze medals in Paris at the Olympics at both 5,000 and 10,000 meters. Grant Fisher is here. And Jay, do we have mics for these? Behind the 16 bottles of water that have been left for me? Oh, who wants to be low? Don't give me a break. You guys want to just test those that they work?
Hello.
Hello, hello. All right, we're here. All right, Tatiana, let's start with you, and I think we're going to have a number of para athletes who are coming up here today to talk about just their athletic goals coming into this weekend, but it is notable that we're here celebrating those athletes and going to see them, hand in hand with these athletes that have been competing at Hayward Field a lot longer. You've had such a long career. You've pushed for a lot of movement for adaptive sports and parasports. What does this weekend mean for you personally as an athlete, but maybe as one of the champions for getting to this point?
Well, thank you so much for having me here today. And for me, it's been 17 years waiting, which is quite a long time. But it really takes a team. It's not just one person. It's been all the athletes before me. It's been current athletes and athletes for the future. And so I'm so excited. I think the crowd's going to be in awe. I think that they're going to be enjoying watching different classifications, different athletes, and it's going to be just an amazing weekend. I really encourage, the media to ask questions to a number of individual athletes, because I know it's going to be a learning experience. There's a lot of athletes in a lot of different classifications, so it can be pretty tricky. And I'm really excited to be racing the 100 and 400 meter this weekend, mostly track focused this year before marathons in the fall.
And coming off the heels of your appearance at Pre, which was pretty special to have you on the track, kind of doing battle with some of the folks that you had battled over in Paris a year ago. What was that experience like? And there's a lot of athletes. Amanda McGrory is going to be part of our coverage on USATF.tv and NBC. And Jay didn't mention that we'll have an exclusive 1 hour window on Peacock where we're going to show all para-athletics on Saturday afternoon. A lot of those athletes have never competed at Hayward Field, and you got a flavor for the Hayward magic. Did you soak it all in?
It was emotional. It was really emotional being at the Pre-Classic in the stadium with 12,000 plus people. It was just everything that I wanted, in my career. And just getting on that starting line and competing against the best of the best athletes that I competed in Paris, and to get a home win was really quite amazing, because it didn't quite go well for me in the Paris. It was nice to take it home this year and rewrite my story and getting ready for LA.
All right. Well, Grant, welcome back. Making light of your mile run here at Pre, but as you said to me just a few minutes ago, it might be the biggest PR you'll ever have in a single event at one time, but it sets the stage, obviously, to get back to distances you're more comfortable with, and just your anticipation for what will be competitive competition this week.
Yeah, 100%. Hayward Field, I've raced at Old Hayward. I've now raced at New Hayward a ton of times, and every time you come here is fun and special. So, last month I got to come here and run a mile, which was fun, and now I'm back to my bread and butter. So, 5K and 10K this weekend, and the fields get harder and harder every single year. So, getting ready for some good battles, and most of all, just fight for every spot.
Adjustments being made this year, obviously, with the extension of the season so late into September. We're still even thinking about Tokyo, and it's more than a month, maybe 6 weeks away now. So how has the planning and how has the cadence of this season sort of been adjusted based on kind of the longness of the season?
Yeah, I think it's a physical adjustment and a mental adjustment. Peaking is just as much as training as it is like getting your emotions right at the right time. It takes a little while as a pro to get that timing perfect. I feel like I have a really good control over it now, so I feel really strong right now. Everyone wants to be competing at their very best at the World Championship, but the U.S. Championship is not something you can overlook by any means. So you still need to be in really, really good form. And something my college coach told me once was that the days feel long, but the seasons are short. So even when the seasons extend out this long, and sometimes the days feel like they're taking forever, you're grinding away, you get to that all of a sudden it's race day, and you need to be ready. So you kind of have to have a mental and emotional preparation for stuff like this.
And Tatiana, your season never ends. I mean, you're on the track, and now we're talking about Berlin, and we're talking about Chicago, and we're talking about New York on the roads and the marathon. How do you approach that? I mean, it's unbelievable that we'll call the Boston Marathon, and a week later we'll see you on the streets of London, and just the ability to always be at that high level. It's probably something even somebody like Grant's like, how do you do that? How do you get up for those every week?
It's a good question. Very few selected athletes can do such a wide range from the 100-meter all the way through the marathon. I started my career as a sprinter only, and in college was when I transitioned into marathoning in 2009. And at that point in Beijing, when I raced, I only did the 800. So when my college coach said, Tatiana, do you want to race Chicago? I was like, no, I won't make it. Like, it's 26.2 miles. And he said, you know, just think about it, doing the 400 meters, your favorite event, roughly about 100 times or so. And then you're done, you're finished. But that moment just absolutely changed my life. And I really do enjoy marathoning. It's very different, especially in the mindset. So that's what makes it really fun. And so focusing on the 100, it's very quick. You got to get off the line. And in a marathon, you're focusing on every turn, every downhill, every uphill. So the focus is very different. But I really, really enjoy it. And I really enjoy it, especially after the Paralympics, because, you know, what do you do after that? You know, you have a little bit of a blue. So I just refocused on the marathons and just keep going.
And my final question for you is, you focus on the marathon and you think of, you know, extending your career out as long as you can. The idea of being part of a domestic Paralympics probably has some bearing on your planning for the future. How do you see that fitting into your goals as a competitor to be on the starting line in LA?
Yeah, so in LA, I am so excited. I made history in Paris, which was really quite amazing. Tied for the most medals against my competitor, Chantal Petitclerc, in Canada. And so I need one more medal to reach the world title, which is really quite amazing. And sometimes I can't. Thank you. So going into, I've made a lot of different preparations, especially after the Tokyo Games, leading to trying it out for Paris, and now leading into LA. I hope to, I know that I will do well in the 1, 4, 8, the relay, 15 and 5. You know, we'll see about that one's pretty tough. And then, of course, adding on the LA Marathon, hill courses are my strength.
All right, well, gives us a reason to keep paying attention.
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah. And final question for you, Grant. You leave Paris with 2 medals. You were excited about that. We've had conversations before. That just means you're more hungry for medals of a different color. And LA being out, you know, a few years, how does a world championship, making this team, getting potentially on the podium there, just where does this all kind of fit now into your plans towards LA?
Yeah, you know, the Olympics are the biggest thing in our sport, so that's the big picture goal. But I've got 3 years of prime running in between now and then, so I want to make the most of it. You know, I was in the Tokyo Games and we had no fans there. It was a very eerie, strange environment to compete in, and that was my first team ever. So I really want to go back and do my best and see if I can get a better medal than last time. But, you know, first step is this weekend, so can't look past that. And you're going to see some very good races across the board this whole weekend, and then hopefully Team USA will show out at the World Championships.
Well, Jay was my Secret Service agent. He came in my ear and said we're going to save the questions for the breakout sessions. So we're going to thank both of you for being here, and we'll keep the session going. But for our photographers, if you guys would just stand here or sit here for a moment, and we'll have some photos taken of you two. Thanks
you.
to Tatiana and to Grant.
Thank you.
Everybody good? Yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah. Here, I'll hold the other one. Perfect. All right, eyes on me, for those of you getting kids back into school. Our next group, I have scheduled 3. I want to make sure that they're all in the room. I see a couple of them here, so I'll introduce them in order. First up, World Championship silver medalist in the heptathlon in our last World Championship in Budapest, finishing 5th in Paris last year in the games, but also coming off an equal number 2 all-time performance in the heptathlon at an event that we all have to go to one time before we all retire from our professional careers in track and field and Gotsis. Please welcome Anna Hall. From Tacoma, Washington, silver medalist at the Paralympics in the T37 category in the long jump, and also bronze medalist in the same classification in the 100 meters. Jaylene Roberts is here. And then is Ryan here? I think we had Ryan Medrano was scheduled to be here, so it's just going to be the 2 of you with those 2 mics, so that works out very well. Welcome to the both of you. All right, have you guys ever met each other?
No.
All right. No. Did you guys like just to
I
have
see
a chat
your
here?
training videos on Instagram, so I feel like it, but no.
Anna, I mean, we talk about this, right? This is different. This is going to be, these are long days for all of us at the track because we're going to have all this great competition, national championship for both athletes. Any exposure to para or adaptive sports, and what do you admire about, and what are you excited about with this opportunity to compete together?
Yeah, I'm excited to watch. I get to be out there for 2 full days, so I'm going to get to see a lot naturally, but not a ton of exposure, honestly, personally, but this past fall, I actually did an event with Coca-Cola at the training center in Colorado Springs, and we got to play wheelchair basketball, which was really cool, and I learned like so much and how things were so much harder than you would imagine, and just like little things you don't think about. And so I think getting to see those events up close and in person really gives us a better feel for the sport that they're doing, and kind of like the little things that go along with each event and each classification. And I'm excited to get exposed to that.
Yeah. And Jaylene, what does this weekend mean to you?
I think it's just a really big step in the Paralympic movement. Because a lot of people don't know about the Paralympics. So I think it's a good exposure moment, and I think, it's a really good learning opportunity. Just as far as Tatiana was saying, there's so many different classifications and so many different events for those classifications. And so I think it's just a good way to showcase the parallels between the two.
And for spectators who will be there, maybe for the first time watching parasport, when you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying to explain parasport, what are the things that those spectators should be focused on? I mean, maybe understand the classifications, or is anything in particular that you talk to folks about?
I think it just has to do, I think it's just according to whatever questions they have, because people know different things about it, so whatever they don't know is kind of what I explain to them. But just explaining the different categories, because there's main categories, and then within those categories there's breakdowns, and you could just go little by little by little. I just think that the biggest thing is just that it's parallel, right? It's Paralympic, so
And not to put you on the spot, but one of the things that is also different between what we'll see from both groups of athletes is the way in which you qualify for the World Championships is a little bit different. Can you explain at all how that works?
I'll try to explain it in the way that makes most sense. So
you should have my job on television. I got to try to explain it too.
So it doesn't necessarily matter what placing you get, so first, second, third, whereas that's how it works on the able-bodied side. So for us, it has to do with what percentage of your standard that you make. So for example, for T37 women's long jump, my A standard is a 4.60 meters. So if I jump above that, it'll be over 100% of the standard. So the higher percentage that you have, the better. And that's basically how it works. So you just want to have the highest percentage as you can of your standard, and that'll help you be in a position to make the team.
Yeah, kind of as easy as trying to explain the heptathlon and the point scoring system and the tables. You sort of had to figure that all out at GOTSIS, and had first chance to talk to you since that performance. You just probably came out of there thinking that the sky's the limit again.
Yeah, I definitely think GOTSI's kind of like reignited something in me, and I went into that meet not expecting to, not trying to score 7,000 points at all, and very much surprised myself. So that was really, really fun, but it definitely showed me where I was like, okay, why did I did have an injury, and that was very hard and like painful and stuff to get through, but I'm like, I spent this whole last however many months just like full of like all this self-doubt, and like the minute I let that go, I do really well. So I was like, okay, maybe I've learned a lesson here. So I'm super thankful for that performance and kind of like the confidence it gives me going forward, knowing that if I can just get to the start line healthy, I've always got a chance to do something special.
And so from a training perspective, obviously continuing to work on every aspect of your 7 events, but is there anything in particular you've been working on specifically since then, getting ready for now?
Yeah, I think something I was really proud of in my GOTSI's performance was some of my weaker events came along, especially the technical events, and so I was very pleased with that, but something I've still struggled to kind of get back to ever since my knee has been like my speed events, so the hurdles and the 200. So really looking to maybe have some progress this weekend in those, really focusing on hurdles, the 200, and long jump are kind of the events I'm looking for maybe to do a season's best in, and then just have a strong performance overall, but probably not going for a crazy, crazy score here.
And you've been very forthcoming how much of this was not only just getting back physically, but also dealing with the mental side of the sport. And Jaylene, you've been very vocal in your efforts to bring that to light. And you struggled a little bit with some issues with Tokyo being postponed, and now it's, you're sitting here with medals and performances that maybe you had to convince yourself you could still achieve. But for you, what has been most important about raising the issue of mental health and that being a piece of being a whole athlete?
Yeah, I think sometimes society views athletes, especially athletes at our level, as superhumans that don't struggle mentally or don't have struggles that are unrelated to sport, even though there's a lot of intersectionality with them. And so I think that my goal is just to try to end the stigmas of that and let people know that athletes struggle as well, especially with the added pressure of sport and the anxiety that comes with it. And I think that I also do it so that we can raise more awareness with support systems that can help us. So whether that's your sports psych, your coach, your parents, your friends, whoever your support system is, just trying to educate them in the ways that they can be helpful. And I know that's personal to every individual, but I think, just ending the stigma and just reminding people that we're humans too at the end of the day, and we have real life struggles.
And last year you released a little mini documentary, Out of the Dark, which I would encourage those who want to learn a bit more about your story to go and watch. It's available on your favorite streaming platform. Favorites, I think, subscription dollars on too many of them, and now that I think about it. Can you share some of that on your side, Anna?
Yeah, I think it's funny that, I think sometimes people are like, you're so open about your mental struggles, and I'm like, I don't really mean to be, it's just the truth. Mm-hmm. I think that overcoming fears that I've had since injuries and things, I think people are always like, oh, it's kind of surprising that you would talk about it, but it's I think if I don't admit it, and you don't admit it to yourself, it's very hard to overcome. So specifically when I've had fears in long jump, high jump, this, that, and the third, it's if I don't label it as that, because at practice, of course, you're just gonna be like, oh, maybe my knee's just not strong enough, or oh, maybe I'm not ready to do it, and it's almost like a cop-out for yourself. But I think the minute I tell my coaches, no, I'm actually afraid of the board, it's okay, well, now we can get to the issue at hand and start working on it. But if you kind of shy away from admitting that there is an issue here, you never get to solve it, and then ultimately it's just gonna take us longer to get to where we wanna go.
Yeah, so, important issues, and sometimes can prevent all that talent from really doing what it is destined to do. I wish you both best of luck this weekend here at Hayward Field, and would just ask you to give me the mics and stand for a little photo op. Our thanks to Anna Hall and Jaylene Roberts. All right, next up, we have two very talented throwers who will be competing here over the course of the next few days at Hayward Field, coming back from a pretty amazing performance at Prefontaine where he set the American record and is now the longest hammer thrower in the world this year. Rudy Winkler is here. And a world record holder in her classification in F46 and won the gold in Paris last year. Please welcome Noelle Malkamaki. Records galore, you guys. We were talking that maybe the secret to your success for your national record was poor training leading up to pre. What was that all about?
Yeah, I mean, poor is a very relative term.
Okay, what word would you
I would have
use?
taken that week of training over any week of training I've had in my previous years still. And I think just as my standard for myself has gone up, my standard for what constitutes as a good practice has gone up. But yeah, retrospect, like, week was fine and obviously performed well. But I think a little bit of it is it takes that pressure off of like, oh, I'm in really good shape. Like I might be able to do something this weekend, and kind of turns it into, well, like just execute and see what happens.
Well,
really
and
valuable.
then let's just state the obvious. You have been so close to that podium at major global championships. We had women coming here last year who were leading the world in long throws, and they couldn't even get out of that cage at Hayward Field and make the team, even though we saw some great success on the women's side. There's this sweep the podium effort where you guys have been really given a lot of great support by a lot of folks who really believe in you. What is it going to take to have the world's longest thrower and the hammer thrower get to Tokyo and do what I believe you want to do, which is to come home with a medal?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think the hammer, the throws, more than maybe a lot of the other track events, are very susceptible to the mental side of the sport, being that they're so technical. The hammer is even more so, just because it's another step into that technical side. And I think for me, it really comes down to just continuing to be as consistent as I can possibly be. Because, I mean, that goes back to my week before pre, right? It wasn't necessarily a bad week of training, but I think what I was feeling bad about was the consistency wasn't there. So I think for me, it's all about just remaining consistent, both in my practices and in my competition. And then the mental side of it is really important. I think we've all kind of touched on that a little bit, but staying on top of that and really keeping the perspective of the sport, what it is and my place in it in place is very important.
Yeah. Well, your inspiration is right next to you because she went to Paris and absolutely hit the moniker, right? World record and a gold medal. I assume you're still on just the ether of that experience, but how has it changed you? How has it driven you for what you're hoping to achieve this year?
Yeah, so I think that the main thing I learned from the experience I had in Paris that really sticks with me is that with enough time you can overcome some of these obstacles that are in your way. All throughout college, all throughout my first few para meets especially, I struggled a lot with performance anxiety and getting out into bigger stages, bigger stadiums than I was used to, and just not being able to perform. So that was my main goal going into the Paralympics in Paris, was how can we figure out these performance anxiety issues and kind of let's make that stop now, And a lot of visualization got me there, but I think what it was is that was certainly the biggest stage I've ever performed on with the most people that I've ever seen in a stadium, because Europe just loves track and field, and I love that for them. And having success in that moment when it was, all eyes on you, this is the biggest moment, it's kind of you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, and doing it, I think that's what I carry with me, and knowing that I have the power to continue breaking down other obstacles that come forward just with time and hard work. So it's nice to be able to take that learning experience into training moving forward into the next quad and, hopefully headed into LA in 2028.
Yeah, it would be nice to keep that momentum going, certainly. You have been a member of the DePaul track and field program, and I think for those who are in our room who maybe haven't been following para or adaptive sport, you were on the team, and we've got programs at Illinois and Arizona and Michigan and other places that have really started to embrace adaptive sport within their athletic departments or as club programs as well. What did that experience mean to you in terms of your development as an athlete? And how much of a trendsetter do you feel you've been in being part of a full-fledged track and field program?
Yeah, I hope to be a trendsetter. I think that Go Blue Demons, and I'm biased when I say this, but DePaul is the model for including adaptive athletes in your programs, period. I think, I had in my experience, I was on just the regular able-bodied track and field team. I know lots of schools have adaptive programs. Mine was all combined. I think the training like that really works well for me. Again, coming from the kind of perspective of I have a disability where I am able to assimilate in with able-bodied training a little bit easier. So that's a privilege that I have. But DePaul did a great job of making me feel celebrated. I never felt that they saw para world championships as less impressive than if, one of my able-bodied teammates had qualified for a championships. And because of that, I think I felt comfortable to use the resources they gave me. I felt like I wanted to continue representing them and talking about them in interviews, right? It created a lifelong relationship because they were so willing to just see what I had to offer athletically and give me that spot and allow me to just compete alongside all the other incredible athletes at DePaul. So everyone should be watching what they're doing and taking notes.
Absolutely. In terms of just your feelings about this combined effort to bring these two groups of athletes together, that is the next step, right? You can do it at a college, but now to do it at the elite level, so important just for all involved.
Yeah, I think as an athlete, the throwers tend to cross paths a bit more than maybe some of the other events. So I have interacted with a lot of the Paralympians, whether it's at Chula Vista or at meets where their events are being contested. It's really great that it's all together now. And even, I don't even see the need for there to be para nationals and track nationals. It's like, if you're a track fan, you're going to love it all. So it should all just be together anyway. So it's great that it's happening. Yeah.
You're just changing the rules. I like that. I like it. All right. I guess final thought from you in terms, I talked a little bit about kind of expectations coming into this week. I guess how's the week of training been?
This week has been good, but
okay. Is that a good sign?
Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I think pre was a really good lesson for me that expectations, good or bad, are not an indicator of how I'm going to do. So just continuing to stay consistent, like I said, and executing on what I've been working on in training is really the goal. I'm in really good shape this year. I just want to continue to be in that shape and not try to change anything or do anything crazy this week or even beyond this week. Yeah.
And every thrower we've ever talked to says after they figured out the shininess and got the rings figured out inside the field of play that these shot put rings are the best in the world. Have you had a chance to test them out yet?
Yeah, I came straight here from practice. I can't believe I made it on time. But that's so true. I even said that without thinking about it to one of my teammates, that the rings are amazing. I prefer a grippy ring. The ring was really nice.
And
so
I'm excited about it. What makes it so?
Like the actual grippiness? I don't know. Probably some kind of special concrete they use, I'm assuming.
But when you say grippiness, what does that allow you to do?
So, I'm not really the best person to ask. I do the glide shot. Less can go wrong in the glide shot.
You're the world record holder and gold medalist. Who else am I going to ask?
So the grippy ring lets you dig into the ring and you can just get more power out from it. So it's just nice to, you don't have to worry quite as much about slipping in my experience. So just more focus, more power. It's always good in the throws.
All right, and you get the last word. Just celebrated your 5th anniversary. Secret to a successful marriage.
Secret to a successful marriage? I think if I had to pick one thing, it would just be giving each other space to do your own thing. I think it's been great for my marriage that I get to go out and I get to have these incredible experiences at international meets, and he does his thing and he works a job that he loves, and then you stay interesting to each other that way by having separate interests and you're doing separate things, and when you come together then you can talk for hours and hours and hours, and I love doing that. So
he's not here.
He's not here. He couldn't get the time off from work. Hi, Robert. Sorry you can't be in Oregon.
I think Tara's going to invite you over to the Wild Duck after you win, and you can...
I'll see you there.
All right. Good luck to both of you this weekend, and I'll grab the mics and we'll do a little photo op.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks to our two here. All right, moving on to our next group. Kind of a special opportunity here is, obviously every time we have a national championship, a chance to see some of our veteran athletes competing, but also true that we have many younger athletes who are afforded an opportunity by virtue of success on the track or in the field this year to compete for a spot on Team USA in the World Championships. Got two young men who have been blistering tracks around the country this year as the fastest high school sprinters, and they will be doing their best to represent their high schools and their states here in the days to come. First, the new high school and American under-20 record holder, number 2 all-time in the event now after running a wind legal 9.92 this year. Also picked up a couple of Texas 6A championships out of San Antonio. Tate Taylor is here. And with his 9.98, he's the U.S. number 3 all-time. He also ran a 9.87 wind-aided, which I could only have dreamed about running at South Eugene years ago. He is also a Georgia 100 and 200-meter champ. Maurice Gleaton is here. Well, it's a good start. You at least gave him the mic. There's no rivalry here at all, guys, or is there?
Nah, this ain't no rivalry.
No,
good.
no. You guys raced against each other here at Nike Outdoor Nationals in June. Weather was a little bit cooler on that night, seem to remember from what we see out here today. But for each of you, just the experience of running at Hayward Field and now being back on this much bigger stage, what does it mean to you, each of you personally?
I know personally, it's really cool considering that Hayward is a great field. It's a historic field, right? There's a lot of things that have happened on that track. And I know that we have an incredible competition ahead of us, so it makes me very excited to compete again.
It's just great to run at Hayward Field. A lot of great athletes have ran here, got a lot of great events and stuff. So to be here, ran here multiple times, and be back here to run on the bigger stage, a blessing to me.
Both believe the track is fast?
Yeah, definitely.
And what makes a track fast?
Competition.
Okay, like it. So more competition maybe than, you guys ran a pretty good battle in June, but we're taking it up a notch. When you look left and you look right and you see folks who have represented the U.S. on the biggest of stages, how do you not make that an intimidating moment? How do you live in the moment and realize that you belong there and you've got a shot to be successful?
I know for me personally, it's staying humble and staying grounded with God, understanding that He has me here for a reason. And at the end of the day, I'm just here to have fun, and it's an experience. So just staying blessed and realizing that this opportunity is not given to anybody. So just go out there and have fun. And if it's in God's will, then what shall be done will be done.
I just say I stay humble, trust myself, trust my coach, trust the process, trust the work that I put in, and just when it's time to race, just focusing on me and myself and my lane.
So explain to me, if you were trying to describe how sprinting in U.S. high schools have the last 3 seasons, 8 of the top 10 times in the history of high school track and field have been set by sprinters, Christian Miller and others, yourselves included. Is it better training? What do you feel as though has been the secret to the success of this group of sprinters these last 3 years?
Well, personally, I think it's just like generation. Like this generation.
Oh, you're the better generation.
No, I ain't saying all that now. Obviously, generations ahead of us have been incredible too, but this generation is just developing at such a fast rate. So therefore, we kind of catch it at a earlier age. So we kind of find the rhythm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree. Probably this generation is a higher training type of thing.
Who would you love to see next to you if you were to be fortunate enough to make it to the national final? Who would you want to be racing next to for a shot at making the team? Doesn't matter?
I don't have anybody personally yet.
No, personally? All right. Anybody in particular that you've looked up to as a top American sprinter that you sort of grew up either admiring or said, hey, I'd love to be as fast as them one day, that you'd have a chance maybe to compete with this week?
Yes, obviously, I've looked up to Noah Lyles because me and him have similar events in the 200. Same with Arian Knighton. I really look up to both of them as top sprinters, and I'm excited to get to see both of them compete, I think.
How about for you?
I said Noah Lyles and Christian Coleman.
Okay. They're old generation based on the way you guys are describing things. I guess last thing, it's been a long season, guys. I mean, you guys have been going at it a while. We're now sitting here almost looking at, we'll be looking at August by the time the weekend rolls around. How have you, other than your youth and your new generation approach to the sport, how have you kept your body in shape, your mental game in shape? Because, I mean, when was your first track meet of the year, including indoor season?
My first track meet of the year was January.
January. How about you?
My first one was in March.
Okay, and you basically have had a little bit of a break, but not tremendous amount of break. So are you tired? Or do you feel like you're still at your A game?
Definitely tired. That's not even a question. Do I feel like I'm still at my A game? I mean, we'll see depending on how I compete. But I know for me, the reason I've been able to just go as long as I have is I have taken a lot of breaks. I compete at a big competition, and I just take a break and kind of relax, wind down, get my mental right, get my physical right, and then just say a quick prayer, put my big boy pants on, and come compete again.
And how about for you?
I probably say just taking breaks, getting treatment, taking care of my body, not running so many races a lot, like week after week, and just focusing on take care of myself.
Well, depending on how you guys do, the season may be going into late September. So we wish you both well. Just 100 of a second separated these two men in June at Nike Outdoor Nationals, and we wish you both the best of luck. And you're also running the 200, correct?
No, just
the
100.
Just the 100. All right. So we'll see these guys on the track here shortly. Let's have those mics over. We'll do a little photo op. Thanks, guys. All right, on to the older and wiser generation now, the old married couple coming up here to, right? Is it? After listening to them, doesn't it? Yeah? Tar Davis and Hunter Woodall, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? Give them time. That's crazy. Yeah. This portion of our program is sponsored by Prevagen, by the way.
Let's go. Whoa, I didn't.
I know. I've got a paparazzi.
Okay.
And what is how do you conjugate that verb? Paparazzi, paparazzi?
Paparazzis.
Is it just, okay.
I don't know.
Paparazzi? Okay. We'll get into that in a minute. Welcome back, both of you, to Eugene. Tara, you've been on the talk show circuit more than you've been competing the last couple of weeks, even though we had you here for pre. Exciting news for you. You're going to be bringing field to Athlos coming up here in October. Look forward to being there and watching you perform in one of the coolest places to ever host a long jump event, which will be in Times Square. Just on the heels of that announcement, just what's been the reaction and how much excitement are you carrying with you for that, even though that's on the other side of what you're trying to do here?
Woo, it's a long way away, but Athlos in the middle of Times Square is pretty insane. I went to New York, I think like 2 weeks ago. I don't know, my time is all messed up at this point. And we walked it out, and Alexis Ohanian showed me where the long jump pit's gonna be. And it's going to be right in front of the Disney store and the Sephora store. So if you guys know where that is, it's dead center of Times Square. And it's awesome. It's bringing awareness. It's bringing eyes to the sport that might have never even seen long jump before. So it's cool. A little toot my horn. I get to jump in the middle of Times Square. So that's awesome.
October 9th, right?
October 9th. We get 4 jumps, and then the finalists will go compete in Icon Stadium October 10th in front of the crowd, which usually the the pit's in the back, but the pit's going to be up front this time so the crowd can see it. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a show. It's going to be super fun, and I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to get there.
So grounding you now into what is coming up this week, which is to make Team USA, where are you in your training, and what are your expectations for this weekend?
I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, honestly. It's really cool to see how far I can jump and see where I can take myself. I'm being distracted by people talking back there.
So am I. Hey, Ryan.
I'm sorry, I can't think and listen at the same time, but it's really, really fun to see how far I can take myself. I feel like after winning the Olympic gold, that pressure is off of where you want to be or what placement you want to get. So now I'm, jumping as freely as I ever have before, and jumping farther than I ever have, and with a new swoosh, which is awesome, and having the Nike team represent.
Anna was talking about the mental side, and if you're having an issue with a takeoff board, you have to address that. Have you thought about seeking an intervention with the takeoff board at Hayward Field? You seem, last jump to get on the team last year, last jump to win at pre. You're making it entertaining, but I'm not certain that that's exactly you want to compete each time.
I do have beef with that board, but it's fine because I managed to do it. Mm-hmm. That's the competitive side of me. It's track and field. It's competition. It's never going to be perfect. And if it was easy, then everyone would be out here doing it. So it is a mental side. It's a mental game, but that's why I'm in therapy. That's why I'm using my brain to come back down and figure out what I need to do and to stay sane.
Well, she's talking about the takeoff board. Maybe she's not talking about you in therapy.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Hunter, you obviously we talked about this at the pre-press conference about parasport being at pre and the importance of just wanting to be seen and wanting to have a chance to compete. And now you're here and you're going to have that chance to compete, in the same venue at the same time with your wife, and just kind of reinforce what you said a few weeks ago. This is a pretty special moment for you.
Yeah, this moment means everything to me. I'm just so grateful to have an opportunity, have a place to compete. And even now, still, I question whether I deserve to be here. You know what I mean? I just have such a great respect for all the athletes here. And I was thinking about it today, actually, and this year is actually the first year that I qualified for the able-body nationals. I ran 45.70. I ran the time. I could run in the able-body section of USA's. And I told myself, I said, one way or another, I was going to be here. And the fact that they gave us an opportunity to race and let us Paralympians come in and show us what we got and just have a lane to compete in, I'm so grateful. And I've never been so proud to represent the Paralympics and take up a lane and just see how fast I can run. So I'm really grateful.
You've been chasing that 45 on the clock for an awful long time, and you're just downplaying the fact that that's also a world record in your classification. So what is it about the training situation? Are you guys, picked up routes and moved and things have, albeit a lot of things that are similar, but there's, newness to the training situation. What's clicking for you at this point in your career?
I think I'm just surrounded by incredible people. My coach, Travis Geffert, MC, Noah Moose, the whole team we got around us. Being around Tara every single day, seeing the way she trains, seeing the intentionality that she brings into practice every day and the joy that she brings. And like Tara said, once we won, in the Olympics and the Paralympics, it took that weight off of us of thinking we had to prove something or get this medal. And now it's just why are we doing this? And the answer is because this is what we love to do, and this is what we're passionate about. And it's so much less now about proving anything to anyone, and more about just doing something for ourselves and seeing how far we can go, and really just enjoying the moment that we're in. So I think more than anything, it's just when you're having fun, you're doing good kind of thing, and we're having a lot of fun this year. So.
So Tatiana brought it up. It's like there's no such thing as a dumb question when it comes to understanding and learning more about parasport. We're going to have Ezra up here talking a little bit about his program, Adaptive, and in that series, the third series of that was in his semifinal round, almost losing his prosthetic 10 meters from the finish line, trying to make the final. You had a situation at World Championships where that occurred. So the naive sort of spectators never seen the sport. How does that prosthetic work? How are you able to run on those? And does temperatures like we're seeing in Eugene this summer have an impact? Just help us understand what it takes just to be able to compete at your best.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, there are so many little things that will make a big difference in prosthetics, and the way we kind of look at it now is I've changed my mindset. I used to think of prosthetics as just an addition to what I'm doing, and now we've turned it to how can we use the prosthetics as the vehicle to find the success, right? So I'm starting to see myself as a driver, and the legs, that is my car, you know what I mean? And getting them right, and the different angles and the different socks and the volume of it, and making sure everything is good is a big part of the success of making sure you can run fast. It's a part of you. So it's difficult, it's challenging. It's all expensive and hard to get and hard to access and hard to find, and there's always problems. And at pre, I was running with a cast on my leg, and here at USA's, I'll be running with a cast on my leg. Just trying to prevent things in 2023 when my leg broke and I wasn't able to race. So it's never perfect, but you just do the best of what you got. And I think, like Tatiana said, I think people will have fun watching, these Paralympic events, because the folks in these races, this racing stuff is the easy part. The hard part is getting out of bed and dealing with everything that comes along with having a physical disability and trying to live life in a world that's not really made for people like that. So I think it'll be cool to just see where this crossroad meets. And I think Paralympians are really good at just doing the best of what they got.
Yeah, and I think all they want is to be seen as great athletes, and we all respect and understand everyone's backstory, but, we just want to celebrate the great athleticism that will be on display. So looking forward to that. Last word, of course, has to come from Tara. We are all looking forward to, and hopefully you will be part of the journey to Tokyo, because in 2021, that was the most bizarre thing ever witnessed at an Olympic Games. What do you remember about getting yourself wired up to compete in front of literally nobody, and what would the opportunity to the showwoman that you are to be able to take that stage and have 80,000 people screaming?
Yeah, I feel like in Tokyo I was trying to clap up a crowd, but I was literally just clapping up other coaches, and they did not want to clap for me, which is fine, it's fair. But that silence was so loud. We're so used to fans cheering something or just hearing chatter, but that was the most uncomfortable setting, because you're trying to be amped, you're trying to go win the Olympic gold medal, and it's no one's there to support you, no one's there to cheer you on. And I just remember driving to the Olympic Stadium, and I was like, this doesn't feel right, nothing feels right about this. So for us to be able to go back, and for Tokyo to be able to redeem themselves of what they had lost, I feel like it's going to be a show. I think it's going to be epic. Tokyo in itself is epic, just seeing it from the bus window. But I'm excited to be in the culture. I'm excited to see the fans. I'm excited to hear them screaming, and see track and field in Tokyo again.
Yeah, there's a couple of Times Squares in Tokyo. We could maybe do next year's long jump on the Ginza. All right.
That, Alexis?
Appreciate you both being here. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy always having you guys up here to talk about your story. And we're going to grab those mics and let you have a photo op. What's that? I've got 16 waters down here, so I'm good. No, so. All right, we have one more group here. And do we have a third mic, or we're going to have a shared mic? Oh, we do have a third mic. All right, our third or our last group, scheduled to be 3 athletes here. Just mentioned them in that previous discussion with the Woodalls. Paris Paralympian in gold medals in the 100 and the high jump, as we welcome from Los Angeles, Ezra Frech. Biased part of the room cheering for you as you come up. I appreciate that. Next up, the reigning Olympic champion, 3-time world champion in the 110-meter hurdles, Grant Holloway is here. And Jay, is Masai here? Oh, the Olympic champion in the back, Masai Russell. And just for our audio guy, we added a third mic, so just make sure that that's up for Masai. Can you sing us a little song, Masai, just for test?
Mic check.
Okay. That really wasn't a song.
Hello.
Do you sing at all?
I used to.
Used to. All right. A story for another day. All right. We'll start with Ezra. I guess just bring us home, because Tatiana was talking about it. Long career, been fighting almost 2 decades for this. You're somewhat in the infancy of your career, though you've had some recent success that we'll talk about. What does this moment mean to you?
Yeah, thank you all for being here. This is very exciting. This is definitely the start of the next phase of what the Paralympics means to the U.S. I think that the Paralympics is growing exponentially. We're seeing this huge rise. We saw what happened in Paris. The buzz was epic. But now this is the next phase. Leading into 2028, we've got the games on American soil. We need the American public to be behind the Paralympics, to understand the Paralympics, to want to tune into the Paralympics. And this is something that should have happened a long time ago, but I'm excited that it's happening now. And hopefully we can continue to build on this momentum. And then in the Coliseum, in 3 years' time, have the stands filled with people who are tuning into paratrack and field.
And just as it is for Tara, who was a local, who has the thought of competing on that stage as the reigning Olympic champion, you have the opportunity to do it in your backyard. So, and you've spent a lot of time, your family spent a lot of time investing in adaptive sport in the region.
Yeah, that's pretty unique to think about it.
We planned it that way.
Yeah,
It's been years in the making.
Yeah, that's great. This is rarer than a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have an Olympics or Paralympics actually in your hometown. I live 20, 30 minutes from the Coliseum. I'm going to be competing in a stadium that's filled with thousands and thousands of my family and friends. We had 70-plus people that traveled all the way to Paris to watch me compete. We might have a couple thousand that'll be in the stands in L.A., and then, it's very special. My family and I, we started a nonprofit, Angel City Sports, where we provide year-round adaptive sports training, equipment, and competitive opportunities for people with physical disabilities. And so seeing the way that we're continuing to grow the grassroots programming, how special and important is it going to be to have then the highest level of sport, the Paralympics, setting the foundation for basically what disability in sport means going forward.
And we'll get back to you to talk about the Adaptive, which was just released on Peacock here in a moment. Mr. Hall, always good to see you.
Feelings mutual.
Hold up your hands. How many times have we won the World Championship?
We count indoors or out?
No, just out.
Just out 3.
Okay, I know, but you did the 3 at the. I always love.
Oh, you want me to count again? I gotta get back in. I gotta get back to.
Have you been practicing 4?
No, of course I've been practicing 4. The goal is to do something that this sport has never seen before, and nobody's ever done it, and I think I have full capability of achieving it, and I'm excited. Obviously, the season hasn't been going to according to plan, but the good thing is as long as I show up on September 17th, 16th, 16th, yeah, I gotta get
Don't
the
show up
dates
on the 17th.
I'm gonna show up to get my medal. That's what I'm gonna do. As long as I show up.
That's like
September
Parchment
16th.
almost not showing up at the stadium on time in Tokyo.
As long as I show up on 16th, that's all that matters. And I'm excited to come back out to Oregon. I've had nothing but great success out here. I think my top 5 times I've ever ran is on this track. So, I was at Lane Community College practicing there. I'm very thankful for the coaching staff there, and see what the Hayward Magic can do for me.
So do you have an appreciation now for how hard it would be to win 4, given how the season has gone?
Yeah, I always have a strong appreciation. When I first set foot in this sport, my thing was I wanted to get a medal every year. And I've achieved that. I've surpassed that a lot. I set the standard for the next generation to come up. And, I'm just excited just to continue just to, be a trailblazer for the sport, be a trailblazer for the hurdlers. I mean, obviously, Masai can sit here and attest that both women and men's hurdles have definitely, taken a turn that everybody wants to watch it. It has that same spark, that same buzz as, the 100 meters. So I'm just looking forward just to getting back out there. Obviously, a lot of people don't even have me making the team, but good thing I'm already on the team. So, that's always a good stat to have.
Yeah, that doesn't help Masai, who says that the U.S. final is more nerve-wracking than the Olympic final. You said that Budapest broke your heart. The city of love in Paris hopefully put your heart back together because you came away as the Olympic champion. But as you think about toughest team to make, we always say that, and you have to bring your best game here in order to make the team.
Yeah, I think everyone knows the U.S. championships, you have to show up at your best for the most part. So, Budapest was in the past, Paris was in the past. Now tomorrow, I'm talking about tomorrow. I'm ready to run. What day? They done switched the schedule, so Saturday is the day that matters the most for me. I don't have the bye, so prayerfully I could get the bye this year, I could be in the same situation.
I'll proclaim it now.
Yeah, let's claim it as Grant. So yeah, I'm just blessed and happy to be here. I did struggle with a little bit of injury after breaking the American record, but I'm just blessed to be here, healthy, and just ready to compete.
Yeah, I was in stadium for the call of that American record, and I think we were all just like, well, that was a heck of a way to start a meet.
Yeah, you was the one that called the race.
Yeah.
You was like, ah! Your reaction was everything.
I have a face for that job.
Best reactions
basically.
right here. Best reactions.
But you said that you kind of turned the page on all these things, but I would have to think, and I've never been an Olympic champion nor an elite athlete, but I think you have to take something from those experiences to build confidence, to build momentum. So how have all these things, whether it be Budapest or Paris or the American record, how does it still have an impact on where you are today going into this weekend?
That's a really good question. I feel like, it's impactful, and I think it just helps with your confidence to show yourself that, you can show up, you can be your best self in the midst of pressure. And I think just for me, being able to rely on, the things that I've done and the things that I have
Don't get emotional.
The things that I've accomplished, I feel like it just gives me that faith that, I've done it before and I can do it again. It's like I said, it's impactful. It happened. It's in the past now, and I just want to continue to write the script and honestly be like someone like Grant Holloway, who's just dominated year in and year out. And clearly a walking legend, GOAT, all that. So do it multiple times. I look to someone like him, I'm all right, I won the Olympics my first year pro. So do I want to continue to be relentless and do it again and again and again, or do I want it to end here? And then when you look at someone like Grant, Shelly Ann, Usain Bolt, you're like, these people have shown up year in and year out, and it's just super inspirational to show what is truly capable in this sport and being so young too.
Yeah, and Ezra, you lived that out in this. Oh, they're going to hug it out in this adaptive thing, which I want you to talk about. But just in the narrative of, and spoiler alert for some who maybe have not followed or watched your career and what happened in Paris, but you went into the long jump thinking that might be your best opportunity next to the high jump of medaling, and you didn't medal there. So you had to turn the page like quickly and go into an event in the 100 where, hey, now I just have an opportunity. So, I mean, it probably resonates with what Masai said, that really you have to, take what you can, but you have to move on and be ready for the next thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance between wanting to put things in the past, but then also some of those things can actually be quite motivating and hold on to them a little bit. After the Tokyo Paralympics, I placed 5th in the high jump and set the lock screen of my phone as a photo of the medalist that beat me. And so although mentally I was past that moment, it was extremely motivating for me. And I think as athletes, you're looking for 2, 3, 4% more motivation on a daily basis, pulling from whatever you can. And for me, it was every time I open up my phone, I look at this lock screen. And so, the antithesis of that is being in Paris and then, missing out on a medal in the long jump, which is the event that I probably thought I had the best chance to medal in outside of my main event, the high jump, and then being like, well, I got to actually let this go. I have, 3 more days of competition, and then being able to refocus. So I always sort of teeter that line between wanting to remember the things that really affect me, that I lost, pull from it, be motivated by it, hunt those guys down and beat them, but then also thinking, well, I'm not necessarily tied to that. The past is in the past. But yeah, it's definitely this interesting dichotomy and balance that I feel like we as athletes all go through for sure.
What is the lock screen now?
The lock screen, the lock screen, what I've sort of decided is that my lock screen is going to be just sort of a collage of moments where I've lost or failed as a way to just motivate me. And so about 3 months before the Paris Paralympic Games, I lost the world title in the high jump. I mean, I shouldn't have lost it. It was just careless mistakes, and it really, really frustrated me to lose my world title so close to Paris. And so then I added that to the lock screen, a photo of me getting the silver, because I'm not going to let that happen again. And then now I'm going to add the long jump from Paris to that as well. And so also I must say, on the lock screen it says the words "never again." I think that having a little bit of that, maybe that revenge, that fire to go get what was yours back, I think I think oftentimes people get complacent, and I think complacency kills success. And in my head, I never want to get complacent. I always want to be hunting, even if I...
And a plug for Adaptive.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that.
You had one job, Ezra.
No, I've been plugging it a lot. They say always plug. Adaptive is a documentary that follows myself and 3 other athletes on the Paralympic team all the way through Paris. We've been filming this for 5+ years. The stories are riveting. It's so much fun to watch it all come to life, and it's basically the most authentic behind-the-scenes depiction of my life that there is. And I'll tell you guys a funny story about Adaptive, which is the documentary world is hard. It's hard to find funding, and we were actually running out of funding leading into the Paris Paralympic Games. And the whole team unanimously decided we are going to spend the entire budget to film in Paris, just banking on the fact that if I were to win, we would then be able to get funding to finish it afterwards. And so I'm sitting there in the Paralympic Village, night before my competition, thinking, man, there's so many people that worked on this documentary, 5+ years. People put their heart and souls, bet their careers on this thing. And if I don't win gold, we probably don't get funding. And so, a lot of people could say, oh, that's a lot of negative pressure. How did you handle that? The reality is there's nothing more motivating than that. I was sitting there thinking, I got to deliver for the people who believed in me since before I even won a medal. And that's what this documentary is about. We took a lot of risks. We put the stories out there. These stories aren't told in the mainstream the way they should be. And if you like good sports stories, Adaptive is that. So watch it on Peacock.
Now on Peacock.
Was
very,
that
very
good?
good.
Was that good? Okay.
Your plug is October 11th. What's happening October 11th?
If you like to golf and you like to drink, come find me. Well, I'm having a charity golf event like I do every year. We've raised close to $150,000 in 2.5 years, give or take. And this is pretty much the only thing that I do for the charity. And obviously I get donations every year, but I've had friends and family come out. Some of the track community came out last year, and we made videos just to try to continue to push it out and have some fun. And it's one of the biggest things that I truly enjoy doing.
Obviously. And where does the money go?
So the money goes to all around the world, honestly. You know, the main goal is to feed as many families as we can for the holiday season. So that's Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and we do back to school bashes. Anything that we can give that money back into the community is pretty much the main objective. And, you know, obviously, who doesn't love to golf and have a good time, and silent auctions, and of course, Viva Tequila Seltzers is sponsoring this year, so we're just having a great time. So if you want to have a good time, just please reach out to me after this, and we'll have a little bit of fun.
Can I come even if I don't drink, if I'm not old enough?
You can do whatever you want, brother.
And this will not be live on Peacock.
It will not be live on Peacock, no. But we might get a USATF subscription, but we might have to pay $12.99 for that.
All right, moving on. Masai, final word from you. I don't know if you got a documentary or a golf tournament, but as an Olympic champion, you have a platform. What are you hoping to use your platform for bettering you, bettering the world, bettering a community?
I don't have a documentary yet on Peacock, but I do have my own YouTube series. I haven't posted no videos in a minute, but Momentum, we've been recording that throughout this season. And the last one was actually after I broke the American record. Like I said, ended up getting injured. So, I just had to take some time back to myself, had to step away. And those are usually the better moments that are good to be captured, but I was like, nah, get the camera on my face. Like, I need to really lock in because I need to make sure that I'm here talking to y'all. But yeah, I always use my platform my Instagram mainly and TikTok to just kind of like motivate, show my life, show the real side of just professional track and field, me being myself. I feel like I'm a very transparent person. I am who I am. I show the journey. I show the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. So, I'm just blessed to be here. Like I said, I'm just excited for this weekend, just excited to make it through this weekend and just take one of the goals and check one of them off and then, keep it moving and on to the next. Because, with the U.S. championships and just the USA track and field, if you're not on that team, if you don't make it through this team, then you don't even have a spot to contend to be a world or gold medalist or any medalist at that point. So, yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you guys for listening.
Masai's ending the press conference. I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. We're going to do one photo op, and then we'll have breakouts. Right, Jay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Stick. All right, thanks everybody for coming.